Hello guys and welcome back to the Frozen Card Gaming YouTube channel, and as usual, Mateus here. Many of you may already be familiar with Red Ice Dragoon and have either longed for it or feared its arrival. It's here and we're gonna break down all you need to know about it. Dragoon is a powerful fusion monster that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. It also comes with its own negate effect that lets you negate a card or effect by discarding a card while also gaining 1000 attack. It has a destruction effect that lets it destroy one of your opponent's monsters and deal its original attack as damage, and this effect can be used each turn as many times as normal monsters used for its material, meaning if you use 2 normal monsters to summon it, you can destroy 2 monsters each turn and deal their attack as damage. The main way we will be summoning Dragoon is by Red Ice Fusion, either by searching it and activating Red Ice Fusion, or by sending the fusion of Anaconda. The current OCG rulings for Red Ice Fusion and Dragoon is that you must use Dark Magician and Red Ice Speed Dragon, which many TCG players have questioned for some time now. But until we get further clarification, we will have to assume that the same applies to the TCG. The most likely reason for that is because Red Ice Fusion says that lists a Red Ice monster as material, which indicates that the material used must be named on the card, and in the case of Dragoon, Red Ice Speed Dragon is the only Red Ice monster named. Players are certainly going to complain about this, so we'll likely get a clarification further ahead, either by PSCT or from R&D. Regardless, we will likely use 2 normals anyway, because it makes Dragoon alone almost game going second, destroying 2 monsters to deal damage. Our main way will most of the time be through Anaconda, which is basically summon 2 monsters and hope your opponent won't have an answer. We will initially likely see turbo decks that just focus on summoning Dragoon and hope that the opponent can't out it. Although the further we go into the meta, the more we will see different aspects of it. In the OCG, we initially saw a lot of decks using the Trickstar engine to summon Anaconda, backed up by Kaijus to remove the opponent's Dragoon, as well as hand traps to stop the Anaconda. Kaijus are an efficient way to deal with Dragoon, and probably the best answer overall. Dark Ruler No More is another quick way, as long as you can still kill it afterwards. Another way is just to stop Anaconda from resolving. Impermanence, Effect Wailer, and the new Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill are all good at shutting down Anaconda. The extra benefit of shutting down Anaconda is that unless they have a second fusion in the deck, they are locked out from using Anaconda this game. Ash Blossom doesn't work against Anaconda, since Anaconda sends the fusion as cost, and the rest of its effect doesn't include any text that lets Ash negate it, but instead just applies Red Ice Fusion's effect at resolution. People might now wonder, but Red Ice Fusion has an ashable effect, and yes, that's true, but Anaconda only copies the text on resolution, and at that point, Ash can't be activated anymore. Moving on, there is also the option of just using Super Poly for Starving Venom, as both Anaconda and Dragoon are dark monsters. For combo players, there is also an additional option. Dragoon can only negate once per turn, so as long as you bait the negate, you can just make Ball Sword and attack over it. If your opponent holds the Dragoon negate to negate Ball Sword, you can just crash the sword into Dragoon, as sword can't die in battle. This, of course, assumes that Dragoon has negated and boosted its attack on a previous turn. So how do we make the best use of Dragoon? Most of you will probably try out turboing builds initially, which honestly isn't that strong. You live and die by Anaconda resolving basically, and if you still insist on such a deck, we suggest that the Trickstar engine, as Candina searching Carabane by itself is enough for Anaconda, and an additional Light Stage is still a really strong card against back row. For those of you who want something more, we got plenty of ideas. Invoked was one of the early Dragoon decks in the OCG. It has the same Dragoon, but it is still reliant on opening engine cards and answers to opponent's cards. Altergeist received one of the bigger buffs, as winning this side deck mind games puts you way ahead of your opponent. Lightning Storm on back row doesn't do much if they have no way to out Dragoon. Sky Striker also gets a big buff with Dragoon, however, without Engage, the deck is likely too slow to keep up with the other decks. Rockets doesn't really have the space to make use of Dragoon. While they can still combo through a Dragoon, we expect Rockets to drop in numbers as players move on to other decks. Dinos can make use of Dragoon if their engine gets going. We don't expect Dragoon to be included too much in Dino decks, as if they get their engine going, they will run over most decks anyway. Emancipator can in theory use Dragoon. However, their extra deck is really tight and their end board already includes multiple negates, so it's unlikely we'll see Dragoon included. However, we believe that Emancipator will still be a really strong deck moving forward. Salamangreat is, in our opinion, one of the big losers at Dragoon's arrival. The deck can't really make use of Dragoon, while still making use of Wolf. The deck also have big issues outing Dragoon through a negate. While it's not impossible, it will cost a lot of resources to do so. Shaddoll is another big loser. Shaddoll cards themselves doesn't really do anything against Dragoon, other than making Winda to stop the summon of it. It can be argued that if you can make use of the invoked engine to make strong fields, including Dragoon, but at that point the question is, why should you even include Shaddoll cards over hand traps in an invoked deck? Eldritch struggles a lot against Dragoon. Most of the deck's removal traps have no effect on Dragoon, and the Golden Lord effect to summon a zombie with attack boost can easily be negated, and at that point, Dragoon will be too big to attack over anyway. If we get back the skill drain and similar cards on the ban list, we could see Eldritch have a place in the meta, but currently it's looking a little grim. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well as liking the video. Comment down below what your thoughts are regarding Red Eyes Dragoon.